Hello, everyone. Hello, people. Hello, everyone. Hello, my peeps. You're looking at a older person than last week. You know. Yes. I turned. Believe it or not, I turned 43 last week. Right, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. That just goes to show you. Well, I believe I look really good for my age, and I owe that all to my diet and, of course, my genes, which I get from my mommy and my daddy. But let me put this on silent. Okay, cool. Let's see if that works. Yes, perfect. Okay, so welcome everybody. This is the Vegan Everyday channel here on Kitch, and I am your host, Chef Ed Harris. All right. So I've been partying all weekend into the week, so I was like, I have to get back to what I do. So here we are. And today is no different from any other day you see me on Kitch. We're going to do something cool, something delicious, simple, but tasty, right? Um, so let's jump into it. And let's go for what we have. I have my oil, I have my blanching water ready to go. So we're doing a vinegar style potato. Like if you've ever been to London, potato and vinegar is a big thing there. I mean, and some other countries, but that's just where I had it a lot. And I'm doing my version of vinegar fries. Some people will just splash the vinegar after the fries are cooked and put it on there. I don't mind that. Sometimes the vinegar gets too much when it's like that. So I like to do it this way where it kind of just immerses into the fries. So you get this very balanced vinegar instead of this like bam, vanilla vinegar when you're eating it. Because if you're dashing the vinegar on your fries, there's always a chance you can put too much vinegar and then you end up with not really amazing fries. It's just way too much vinegar, right? So we don't want that. So this way you can do it and know that it's going to be really controlled. And then if you still want to add some vinegar at the end, you totally can. Just be very mindful of it and find some way to sprinkle it on very sparingly. All right. So I have about 4 cups of water in my pot, right? And to that, I'm gonna add about a quarter cup of vinegar, and we're using just plain old vinegar here. All right. Now, the vinegar that we're adding to this obviously is gonna enhance the flavor. It's also gonna help with the crispiness, right? And the blanching of the fries before we actually fry them is also going to help with the crispiness. Because what happens if you take fries and you just cut the potatoes and throw them right into the fry and you fry them? If they're not sliced really thin, more than likely they're not going to be crispy, right? Because there's just so much moisture in the fries and the starch, right? But pre-blanching it and then cooking it in the fryer, that is what allows you to create really crispy fries. Because what happens is, think of baked potato. You know how it's that beautiful texture? So then imagine frying that. It's always going to be crispy, right? Because you're creating a very specific texture by pre-cooking your potatoes. So that's what we're going to do today. So I want to taste my water. Yep. You can taste the vinegar. It's very faint. It's not too much, and that's what we want. So matter of fact, I'm gonna put a splash more in there because I probably put more than 4 cups of water in my pot. Okay, now we're good to go. So I have potatoes, and of course, like we always do it, we're gonna not do regular potatoes, right? So I have fingerlings here, and I have some really big ones, some small ones, but with fries, you can basically use any potato, russet, Idaho, Yukon Gold. I like fingerlings because they're already kind of cut for you. So, hence, see, cut them in four and they're like done, you know. Whereas in the bigger potatoes, you're gonna have to do a little bit more work. But that's totally fine too. You know what I mean? So I was like, should I go buy potatoes? Let me see what's in the fridge. And sure enough, I have fingerlings in the fridge. Thanks, Mom. So that's what we're using. All right. All right. So we just got to cut these up real nice and, try to cut them as even as possible. And of course, you want to wash these really well, because you're eating them with the skin. Fingerlings, I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant and the fingerlings have been peeled. Maybe one or two, like really fine dining, like, you know, those upper echelon kind of restaurants in New York where, it's a tasting menu and they're doing like some sous vide or something like that. Then maybe the potatoes have been peeled, right? But I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10 times, fingerlings are always gonna come with the skin on. So how do you get them nice and ready? You just put them in some water, wash them really well. I'll even take like a Brillo pad, a metal scrubby, and I'll scrub the skin, which is what I did with these. All right. And that's if your potatoes look a little, not the best. So when you're buying your fingerlings, make sure you get the ones that look nice and clean without a ton of blemishes and stuff like that, because that's more work for you. And then of course you have to cut out those pieces. They might not be, they don't look as well, and we don't want none of that. All right. So, and this is like, the perfect size to cut your potatoes, even if you're doing the Yukon or Idaho. You don't want them too small, you don't want them too big, but this thickness, this width allows them to fry up and crisp up really well. All right. So we got the last one here, which I saved, the big one. So we're gonna slice it down like this. This way we can just, you know, go straight across. All right. See? Boom, boom, boom. Make sure it's all good. What's that in the middle there? You want to cut out anything that might not look copacetic. You know what I mean? Last but not least, okay. So my water is boiling, so I'm going to throw these right in. And of course, don't just drop them in like that, right? Because more than likely, you're going to get burned. So be gentle, dropping them in, crank your water up. These, we're literally going to cook them for about, thank you. We're going to cook them for about maybe 5 minutes tops. All right. They don't need to be cooked long because we're not trying to fully cook them over there anyway. All right. Remember, we're just lightly blanching them to get them ready for the fryer, which I'm about to turn on right now. Right, so plug in your fryer. If you don't have a fryer, then you can use a nice big pot like the one I'm blanching it in right now. Use a pot like that, fill it up with oil, of course, and then, go to town. All right, so I have some parsley for garnish, right? Oil is on. Turn this around. Okay. I have a sheet tray, right, with not parchment, with paper towels that we're going to use once we take the potatoes out. You want to make sure your potatoes don't have a ton of liquid on them. All right, because the next step is super important. This is how we're going to create our coating that we're going to put on the fries, which is going to make it muy delicioso. All right, so what time is it right now? It is 2:00. Nope, it's 2:10. So we'll take it out in about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. The size of your potato counts for a lot. So make sure you're paying attention to how big you cut them. If you cut them bigger than how I cut them, then you're going to have to cook them just a little bit longer. Okay. Thank you, Faye. I appreciate it. So in here, we're going to go with like about a cup of cornstarch. All right. You can play around with chickpea flour. You can play around with rice flour. Any really starchy starch, would be really good for this. I wouldn't use flour, right? But cornstarch, potato starch is really amazing too. If you can get your hands on potato starch, I would totally use that. So you can go with cornstarch like I did today, potato starch, or rice flour. All right, any of those will give you, or chickpea flour, lentil flour even gives really, really nice crispy texture. All right, so remember that. Okay, so in here, you can use salt and pepper. I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to use some smoky salt. All right. If you have never used smoked salt, I definitely suggest you get some. This right here is actually made by my company, and we do all kinds of delicious seasonings. So definitely click the link right here to check out the website. We have an amazing set of spices going on, but this particular salt is hand smoked with mesquite and hickory. So it delivers with the smoky flavor. Trust me. All right. So we're going to season up our cornstarch with that. Let me flip this lid around. All right. Here we go. All right. We're going to put that in there. A little bit more. Okay. So we don't need to overly season up the cornstarch, but we want to put a little bit in there just so this breading, when it sticks to the fries, is going to give us that initial seasoning. All right. So salt and pepper into your cornstarch. Let's check our potatoes. Let's see how they're looking. All right. We'll take them out in about another minute. In the meantime, let's mix up our cornstarch. All right. So it's very simple. 3 ingredients: cornstarch, salt, and pepper. That's it. This cornstarch is going to give it a real nice mix, and it's going to coat it really nicely. All right. And that's going to help with the crispiness. All right. You can smell the smoke. It's awesome. All right. Let's give it, we'll give it another minute, right? In the meantime, let us cut our parsley for our garnish, right? Oh, actually, these are good. So we're gonna take them out and put them right onto our paper towel lined tray. All right. And be gentle taking them out with your spider or your slotted spoon, so this way you don't break your beautifully cut potatoes. All right. You can smell the vinegar. It's awesome. So turn the fire off, and we're gonna let this just drip for a second, right? And this is something you can definitely do ahead of time as well. You can pre-blanch your potatoes and have them ready to go, and then you just dust them and fry them up. All right. So oil is ready to go. I'll put this here just for a second, just let it chill for a little bit while I chop this up, because this is gonna be our garnish. Right? You notice you don't want to scrape the board with your knife pointing down like this. All right. You want to go almost parallel to the board. This way you're not making your knife more dull. All right. When you scrape the board like this, you are definitely allowing your knife to get dull. All right. Faster than it needs to be. Okay. Let's put it that way. So potatoes, let's bring them up together so you can pick them up easier. All right. And then right into our cornstarch. Boom, boom, boom. And remember, we want to be gentle because our potatoes are a little delicate at the moment, right? Okay, we'll add a little bit more in there because we still got cornstarch to go. All right, so you see, right? And you can, it's funny because the skin does not take on any of the cornstarch because it's not like the exposed part of the potato. So that in itself is going to give us a cool color and texture as well. All right, so let's get these in the fryer. Now, when you're putting the potatoes in the fryer, you want to make sure that you just lightly dust them off, right? And you want to make sure that you don't just put the whole batch in there. Like you want to cook this in small batches, all right? You put too much in there, you automatically cool down the oil, and that is gonna defeat the purpose of making these beautiful potatoes. All right, so be very mindful of that, okay? Never overcrowd your fryer. So I'm gonna get the rest ready. All right, super important to not overcrowd your fryer. When you do that, it's a, it's a no-no. All right, the temperature drops because you have put so many things in the oil, and it takes way long to come back up to temperature. And because of that, it creates for a soggy situation. All right, it'll eventually get crispy, hopefully, depending on what it is you're cooking, but you don't want to take that chance. All right. So these are dusted. I'm going to leave them here until the first batch is done. I'll go clean my hands. Put this on the side here for now. Oh yeah, those are going to be nice and crispy. By the way, for everyone joining today, all right, if you haven't heard, I just over the weekend for my birthday released my third cookbook. Yes, my third cookbook. This cookbook is all about Nigerian food. My wife is Nigerian, so this one is a labor of love. I mean, all my cookbooks are a labor of love, but this one is extra special because you know I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for my wife. So I worked on it with her. We went to Nigeria for our wedding, and that was such an amazing experience. Like a 2 3 day wedding kind of situation, and I got to learn a lot about the culture being there, and then just with her being here with me, every day, I learned something new about Nigerian food. So I took all those recipes and I veganized them, Chef Ed style, and I put them into a book. So there is over 60 or 80 pages, right? Tons of recipes, really cool stuff, all plant based, 100% vegan, but really tasty dishes, from pepper soup to akara to moi moi to different kinds of swallows, fufu, pounded yam. I mean, really, really delicious stuff. Thank you. So, all of that I poured into this book. So, that's available right now for pre order. It's $19.99, it's a digital copy. So that's also on the website. So definitely go check out the website if you haven't yet. And get you some cookbooks, get you some spices, have some fun in the kitchen. All right. Let's put this over here. So since we don't need this anymore, we're gonna get rid of this and get fresh paper so we can put the fries that we're taking out of the fryer. You always want to make sure that you have a paper towel down, so as soon as you get things out of the fryer, you can drain it. Because if your fries are just sitting in a container right out of the fryer, the oil that it's sitting in, that's gonna make it get soggy as well. All right, so the paper towel is gonna extract whatever extra excess oil that's left over from frying and leave you with a beautiful, crispy fry. All right, I have my cool bowl here that we're gonna use to plate this baby up. All righty. Yes. They are almost ready, ladies and gentlemen. Almost ready. Okay. And the second thing is anytime you fry anything, it's super important immediately as it comes out of the oil to give it some seasoning, to give it a little bit of salt. All right. If you have fully seasoned it before you fry it, then you might not need to do that. But I try not to fully season anything that I'm going to fry like that. Especially French fries. I like to give it a little bit of salt at the very end. Like a finishing salt situation. You know what I mean? That just makes the whole thing pop, right? So we're about to do that, okay? And we're gonna use the smoke. So it's a smoky vinegar French fry. I mean, that just sounds delicious already. All right. Okay. Golden crispy. There we go. All right. Time to take these babies out. They're getting brown. They are done. I also have in my oil some chilies, because I always season, I always have things in my oil. So there's bay leaves in my oil. There are whole chilies in my oil. These just add to the flavor of whatever it is that I'm making. So a little bit of salt, like I said, right? Not too much. And then we're going to plate this up and we're going to put the parsley on it. All right. There she blows in the light, right? And then you just finish it with the fresh chopped parsley. Boom. And we're done, right? We are done. Now let's check for vinegar. Hmm. 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 That's it, people. So, like I said, you can add a little bit more vinegar if you want, if you don't think it's enough. Um, Add some more salt. If you like, seasoning is totally up to you. You can hit this with some Parmesan cheese. You can hit it with the smoked salt like I did. Anything really, even some nutritional yeast. I mean, you can really have fun with French fries. You can literally put anything on it. All right. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. All right. And let's see, save some for save me some of that good stuff. I'll try. It's French fries. French fries don't really last, in this house. But no, seriously, thank you, everybody. I will catch you later. All right. Thank you so much. Until next time, I wish you an amazing day. Okay. And remember to cook well, eat well, and be well. All right. This is Chef Ed. I'm out of here. Okay. I'm about to go do some more work. All righty. Like, you know what we do. All right. I'm out. Later, people. Love you.